Greetings my friends and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a concert I went to the other night. It was a gig at the Norwich UEA. The band in question was none other than the Black Veil Brides. Now, if you're not familiar with Black Veil Brides, they are an American, I'm going to say they're a modern heavy metal band that have elements of metalcore or hardcore in there. But also they have flourishes of more traditional sort of hard rock. There's a little bit of sort of hair metal in there even. But I'm going to clear the air a little bit because Black Veil Brides are a band that have, ever since the early days, they have received a lot of criticism, a lot of hate, as the youngsters like to say, because of the fact that they wore makeup and dressed in a certain way. You look at the artwork of their second album, Set the World on Fire. You know, the aesthetic is a little bit, it's kind of like Twisted Sister meets Immortal. You know, you've got corpse paint-ish stuff going on there, but it's all the big hair, the makeup, the glamour. So for their aesthetics, they've been criticised. They've been criticised for their music. It's not heavy enough. It's not extreme enough. It's not good enough. They're not good enough musicians. Singer Andy Biersack, he's not got good voice. They've had a lot of criticism even since the beginning. Now, bear in mind, the last time that I saw the Black Veil Brides was actually at the Norwich UEA. And it was on the Kerrang tour, and Andy actually referenced that on Tuesday night that it was Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, referenced the fact that the last time they were there was for that particular tour, and that was 10 years ago. Now, 10 years ago, I was a mid to late teenager. I'm not quite convinced that it was 10 years exactly. I think it was slightly more, but I need to just look it up. It's easy enough to Google things these days, but I was a teenager who was suffering the usual teenage symptoms, you know, emotional instabilities, anxieties, the stresses of education, the confusion of the world. So to me, bands like the Black Veil Brides or Bullet for My Valentine, Avenged Sevenfold, Slipknot, certain metalcore bands like Bring Me the Horizon, Disturbed, these sorts of bands, Five Finger Death Punch as well thrown in there, these sorts of bands were hugely important to me because I could connect and relate to what they were singing about. I could relate to the music. Now, if you've been following my channel, and I know this is a bit of a tangent, I will get to the review, but if you've been following my channel, then you will no doubt be aware that I like a whole lot of heavy music. I like black metal, death metal, thrash metal, grindcore, traditional heavy metal, nwabum, power metal, all kinds of different extreme music. I can listen to Enslaved, Dimmu Borgir, Dark Throne, Morbid Angel, Deicide, Sepultura, Iron Maiden, Saxon. I've got a broad taste in extreme music, and to be honest, although I very rarely listen to the Black Veil Brides, I will admit, I haven't really listened to them much since the release of their newest album. But I could happily pick it up and it would just give me a real nostalgia. It would give me a real throwback, and I think that they're good musicians. I think that it's good music. I think that it is relevant in its context. They're a gateway band. They're accessible. They're like Asking Alexandria or Bring Me the Horizon, Bullet for My Valentine. Big names, accessible, extreme music. They're a gateway band. People will, you know, young and curious fans will find these bands sooner than they're going to find the likes of Enslaved or Gorguts or Enthroned, just to randomly pick a few names off the top of my head. They're going to find these bands and then they'll work their way down, because that's exactly what I did. Started with Slipknot, then it filtered Disturbed, Bullet for My Valentine, Bring Me the Horizon, right the way down, and now it's all the weird and wonderfuls, Arch Enemy, Anthrax, Autopsy, Armored Saint, Asphyx, the list goes on. So that aside, I want you to bear in mind as a viewer that I have the right to do that as an individual with my own thoughts, my own opinions, and actually, I'll tell you, it was a damn good show. So as I mentioned, it was the Black Veil Brides live at the Norwich UEA, a venue that has, well, it's brought some pretty big names to my region. And that is fantastic because, local shows are few and far between. But Buddy and myself headed down there, and it was a night that was fraught with complexities and setbacks. For instance, the show was booked as an early show, so a 6:30 doors open, the curfew at 10, which I thought fantastic because that way I've got an hour drive home. I can get home, be in bed at a reasonable time to get up at 6 for work the next day. However, the show was postponed by about an hour, so of course the curfew then became 11 o'clock. Okay, not too big a deal. The main problems started when the band took the stage. Now, if you're not familiar with Black Veil Brides, they are, I would say they're quite theatric. There's lots of great sort of stage presence. Certainly from Andy, the vocalist, he has the look and the character of a great frontman. And you can tell that although they've been around for quite a few years now, years to come, he is going to be even more of a commanding stage presence and a figure renowned. He will be the Dee Schneider or the Rob Halford of his generation. These great stage presences. So the band took the stage and they kicked off. They got to the second track before they were abruptly cut short. So the whole show had to stop. Andy stopped the show because someone had fallen down in the mosh pit. It then took a good 5 minutes to get that person up and out and get the show on the road. So they kind of moved on from that track. I think it was Coffins that was interrupted. But to be honest, I can't quite recall the running order off the top of my head. But this is a damn good album. This is The Phantom Tomorrow. This was released in 2021. And to be honest, this is more of a up-to-date heavy metal album rather than a metalcore or anything else, if you want to call it, album. Cut short. They managed to then pick it up again. They did a very crowd-pleasing rendition of Rebel Love Song from the second album, Set the World Afire, which was received with rapturous applause. Then there was a few more tracks before they were cut short again. They were cut short because a second person had gone down, which led to another delay, another break, and before things actually got going again. By the time that they did get started again, they'd cut another song short, and I think you could tell there was a bit of kind of frustration and concern from the band on stage that the momentum had been lost. There was a bit of a concern. It was an absolutely packed show. It was a sellout show, and I think that the crowd were, let's just say, they were absolutely losing their frickin' minds. There was a whole lot of energy and activity there, a lot of pushing forward. I think people were falling over and tripping up. But they did get going again. And for the rest of the set, they delivered a really strong performance. The musicianship was really, really tight. They're a band of great musicians. Guitarists, absolutely sterling. We've got Jake Pitts and Jinx, the guitarists. Absolutely cracking guitar work from those two. They are a modern guitar hero duo. They are the Downing and Tipton. They are the Murray and Smith, or Sinister Gates and Zaki Vengeance of their kind. Andy Biersack on vocals, as I say. Christian Coma on drums, absolutely smashing it. He is a fantastic drummer. He's mesmerising watching him up there on the drum throne, absolutely killing it. And I think that to be honest, the sound could have been improved slightly because his drumming was a notch above, in terms of volume, above everything else. So it was a very drum heavy set, but no bad thing because he was absolutely killing it. And then we've got Lonnie Eagleton on bass, who is the most recent member of the band to join. So really great musicians. Andy sounded great. He's got a very powerful voice. He's got kind of a rough, raspy edge to his vocals, but he delivered a superb vocal performance throughout the night. Despite the setbacks, he still got up there and he commanded the stage. He's got a real presence and the crowd absolutely love the man. You can see that, it's apparent. He has such presence. So for the rest of the set, it was really great for me. Now, if you're a Black Veil Brides fan, certainly of the first 3 albums, the rest of the set would have been absolutely perfect for you and you would have loved it, because we got quite a delivery of tracks from the 3rd album. This is Wretched and Divine, and they really did lean heavily towards this album. In no particular order, because like I say, it's a few nights ago now and I can't quite remember the running order, but we had I Am Bulletproof, which is a brilliant track, a really rousing heavy metal stomper. Then they also played the title track, Wretched and Divine, killer track, brilliantly live delivered, really catchy, uplifting chorus. Everyone was singing along, it was brilliant. They also played Shadows Die, which is quite a deep cut dive actually. It's quite a long song, but what was brilliant about it is they played Shadows Die and then they went into Shadows Rise from The Phantom Tomorrow. A brilliant idea, and it really worked actually. Something a bit older, something a bit newer. They also played, they did play Lost It All, the kind of slow, I'm not going to say a ballad, but it's an emotive, quiet piece that escalates into a bit of a rocker. Now they played that as the first track of the encore. Now I will say, my criticism is that they totally overcooked the encore. They went off stage after playing from the first debut album, We Stitch These Wounds. I believe they played Knives and Pens, a classic track, brilliant track. They also, from this album, they played the classic Perfect Weapon. So you had those 2 tracks that just threw me right back to my teenage years. But following that, they did do an encore, but they totally overcooked it. It was about 5+ minutes before they came on, and then very quietly went into Lost It All. But they did pick things up again by delving back to this album and playing Fallen Angels, a cracking, heavy metal, rousing, crowd-pleasing anthem. Everyone was moving, everyone was enjoying it. It was a real sing-along track before they went back to Wretched and Divine to close the whole set with expertly predicted by my buddy, stating that it was a massive cliche, but they're going to do it anyway, clearly, playing In the End to end the set. Now, cliches aside, it was a fantastic rendition and it was absolutely brilliant. The whole crowd singing along, so much energy. It was fantastic. Elsewhere, like I say, can't quite remember the order, but they did play Legacy as well from Set the World Afire, and it was a brilliant version. So really, it was quite a heavily leaning towards their early catalogue. 2 tracks from the first album, 3 from the second, then numerous from the 3rd album. A couple of nods to the bits and pieces in between, but the new album was also fairly represented with Scarlet Cross, Shadows Rise, and the brilliant Crimson Skies as well. So, you know what? I think they also played a new track. I think it was called Wake Up. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they played something new. And it was just a great show. It was just a really enjoyable heavy metal show. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a devoted Black Veil Brides super fan. I've been following them all these years, because I haven't. I've been kind of listening to them on and off over the last 8 years, perhaps. Here and there, I'll just sort of revisit it in the car. But when the opportunity came to see them an hour down the road from me, I thought, yeah, I'm going to seize that opportunity, and I'm glad that I did, because they put on a really good show. And I personally can see Black Veil Brides being future headliner of something like Download Festival. They're going places, and I think that they're the future of modern, kind of a little bit alternative heavy metal. So the Black Veil Brides at the Norwich UEA, all round, I would give that a solid 7 out of 10. May have given it slightly more if they weren't rudely interrupted, I don't know. But it was just a great show. Great musicianship all round. So, thanks very much for watching. Were you at that show, or have you seen them elsewhere on this tour? If so, let me know what you think and what your experience was. I'm interested to hear. If you haven't seen them and you do get an opportunity to see them on this tour, I would really recommend you get in there quickly. And if you're not familiar with Black Veil Brides, if you've just cast them aside because you've heard so many negative things about them, I would say maybe give it a try. So, thanks for watching, my friends. Do take care. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy stuff. Take care, my friends. Stay heavy.